My name is Alex Early, and the topic I am going to present for my rebuttal is why women should not be in combat. Women should not be placed into the infantry if there is no reason to provide additional support in infantry missions. Countries like Israel and Kurdistan have women serving in their military because it is necessary for women to bear arms in their country. The Palestinians have literally vowed to wipe Israel from the face of the earth. So it was of massive importance for the women of Israel and Kurdistan to fight, because they do not have the means to simply rely on the men of those countries due to decreases in population and other political problems. The agenda in our country of women needing equal opportunities to men is a frivolous idea, and the fact that if a woman is assigning herself to combat training simply to prove her worthiness is selfish. If one is to fight, it should be because there is no other way around it, not just because of a mantra we live by: anything you can do, I can do better. According to an article in the Marine Corps Gazette, the incorporation of women takes time away from training, jeopardizes readiness, and puts undue strains and requirements on the unit. National leadership should be more concerned with ensuring the Marine Corps' infantry units are as strong as possible to fight our nation's battles, not with avoiding a difficult EO debate, promoting a particular political agenda, or maintaining a certain public image. Above all, preserving national security should be the driving factor of infantry policy change. Long-term consequences should also be considered for this topic. What happens when women are assigned to the draft? Will we simply turn a blind eye to a woman being tortured? In a Washington Post article that discusses the endangerment of men with women in combat, it is stated that eventually we'll avert our eyes from footage of a young woman's tortured body, someone's wife, mother, daughter, sister, or lover, as she is crucified, burned, or beheaded in the name of God knows what. The same article then goes to state that will be a day no civilized nation should have invited upon itself. Is this something that would really become a norm in our society? There is a drastic price to pay for the belief that women should be given the same opportunities of men. One of these prices was listed in an article for the Hartford Courant, stating that once women are assigned to combat, there will be no argument against drafting women. The catechism of choice suddenly means no choice. Quite the irony, am I right? There's a point when it comes to women having advantages in a combat position. It is stated that in a national interest article that there is no issue with the women's intellectual quality or value as a human being. It could be argued that in some cases women are smarter and more clever than men. In areas of the military not requiring physical strength or stamina, a woman ought to be able to compete on an equal footing with a man. Yet in that same article it is stated that we ignore biology at our own peril. In the name of advancing women's rights, we cannot risk diminishing the capabilities of ground combat units. At the same time, a woman's emotional capabilities may aid in avoiding conflict. In a Christian Feminism Today article, one of the writers states that it has been over 200 years and our reliance as a nation on violence has only escalated. Maybe the change we need starts with more women serving in combat, learning that combat is not sustainable and is not, in the end, being the best we can be. However, it should also be addressed that there is an inescapable tie between men and women naturally when it comes to intimacy. The roles of combat positions are filled typically with men from the age range of 18 to 25. These are also known as the most heightened times of men and women's hormonal intimacy. So imagine what our combat units would be like if you were to take an already high-stress environment filled with hormones and you were to add women to the mix. According to a War on the Rocks article, there is two inconvenient truths to this situation. The irony is that combat units are it when it comes to protecting all other equities we Americans value. That is the inconvenient truth number one. We have no other frontline behind the lines first responders. Why would we want to do anything that jeopardizes their cohesiveness and integrity? The second truth is that men and women have been each other's most consistent distraction since the beginning of time. To pretend that we don't know what will happen when men and women are thrown together for prolonged periods in emotionally intense situations defies common sense. Being overly academic and insufficiently adult about adult behavior isn't just irresponsible, but imperiling, and belies the deadly seriousness with which we should want combat units to perform. As a critical thinker, I have to agree with this article. Ignorance is bliss until reality slaps you in the face in the form of unnecessary drama or pregnancy. Women have been in hard military conditions for centuries, and they more than prove themselves worthy of a position in combat. Beyond that, though, is the harsh reality that women are taxing on military resources and not really needed in military combat positions unless absolutely necessary, like the cases of Israel and Kurdistan. Not to mention the terrible tax on freedom it could lead to, as in the draft, where women would have no choice but to serve no matter how unique women are as a species. Yet that species does have a tendency to have intimate relations with the opposite sex. On top of the hardship it would be for a man to put aside his instinct to protect a woman in peril, as much as I hate saying that. Women are a valuable resource in our society, and they have a unique view on worldly matters that could impact our future. But can women in combat positions be too drastic and unnecessary in our modern society? And that is my rebuttal to my persuasive speech. Thank you very much for listening.